So, you split your nozzle. We've all been there, trust me. If you're a gas blowback user, you'll understand of splitting your nozzle. So trust me, you are not the only one that has done it. And it can also be quickly fixed in like 5 to 10 minutes. And not knowing going into the gas blowback world of splitting your nozzle, I kind of learned the hard way. And I can also show you a video of me actually split my nozzle for the first time. Some viewers might even know that from one of my videos that kind of went pretty good with the views. It's at like 75k views at the moment, but basically I cut that down to super short due to me actually splitting my nozzle, and I haven't really showed that to you guys yet, but I'm going to show you it. It's going to you're probably going to roast me for it, but this is what happens when you're just not sure on how to really function your gun properly. So basically here's just me shooting the gun, thinking it's all fine, but it started to jam up. Me not knowing, I kept on racking the bolt back, thinking it would actually push the baby out of the barrel, but stupidly enough I didn't think of that, and it just kept on racking it back. And because of that, the nozzle is only built from polymer or heavy duty plastic, so it is going to split like butter if you don't clear the chamber before you shoot your gun.
Bruh.
So the simple tool that you need for this job is a flathead screwdriver, and depending on what screws you have on top of the nozzle for the spring guide, you'll either need a Allen key screwdriver or a standard Phillips head screwdriver. But again, that's all dependent on the screws you have. You'll know the size when you look at your own. So let's replace that nozzle with a new one. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to transfer the nozzle that I already had in my other bolt into the original TM bolt. So doing this is basically the exact same as replacing any type of nozzle. And the good thing, it only takes around 5 minutes to do as well, so it's super quick. So first of all, you want to remove these two screws on top of your bolt that hold down the nozzle guide. For removing these two screws, you're going to use your Allen key tool or your Phillips head screwdriver. After you remove the two screws at the top, you're going to want to remove this little spring to take off the nozzle guide. This is when you're going to use your flathead screwdriver. It's just easy to get that spring out with that tool, and plus it works for me best. So after you remove that spring, you're going to want to pull the nozzle out a little bit and grab the nozzle guide from the back and lift it up a little bit, and then slide it out towards the nozzle. Don't push the back of it too much because you will break your nozzle guide, so do be gentle with it. So this part of taking out the nozzle is a little bit tricky for new people that do it, but what you're going to want to do is get your small screwdriver or a pokey tool or whatever you find is best for you. You want to put it in that hole where the metal piece is sticking out, and pull out a little bit, and that door should lift up a little bit, but do be very gentle with it because it is very flimsy plastic. But sometimes it comes off pretty easy, and sometimes it does take a little bit of effort to do it. So if you do have a little bit of trouble with it, just poke it from the bottom side and it should lift up, no problem. And also this part should come completely off as well. So after you take that little door off, the nozzle should just slide out pretty smoothly from the bolt itself. And then after that, you can take your new nozzle out of your packet and to get ready to put it back into the bolt. So this is the bolt that I'm using to transfer my existing nozzle into it, and from here we just basically prep to go back into the bolt. So before you put it even back into the bolt, you're going to want to get some silicone grease, not the oil, but you want the grease for it because it'll last a little bit longer. But you're going to want to put that around the piece of rubber that you see at the back of the nozzle. And whenever you have that done, you can just slide the nozzle back into your bolt. Whenever you put the nozzle fully into the bolt, you should see the tip of the spring itself, so the metal that the spring sits into, and you're just going to poke that through with a little Allen key tool, just something small to fit into that hole and pull it out. And while you're doing that, you're going to want to grab that wee door and slide it back into its seat. Now it only goes in one way, so you should see where it sits in. Now don't be annoyed if you get frustrated by it. It is going to take you a while to get it in. It always gets me sometimes, but you do find a knack to it after a few times you do it. Whenever you get that door successfully on, you can then grab your nozzle guide, and you kind of want to do a reverse on what you did when you're taking it off. So you want to pull the nozzle out a little bit, and you're going to want to slide the nozzle guide back into its seat. And if you get confused by it, just look at what I'm doing and you should be golden. So after you get that done, you're going to want to get your 2 screws at the start, and you're going to place them back into its slot. Now I know what you're probably going to do. You're probably going to tighten it as hard as you can, but don't do that, because that guide does need a little bit of play, because from the shock of the bolt coming back, just that spring takes a little bit of the pressure off of it. So this part always gets people, especially got me at the first time doing it. But you want to get that spring back into where it was seated at first. And what I like to do is to place it in the hole first with the little bit of spring coming out of the thing, and you're going to want to get a flathead screwdriver and kind of put it back into place. Sometimes it feels like it's in place, but it really isn't. You need to get it really deep into the hole. It is a little bit challenging, but you'll get it. So after you get them 2 screws in, your nozzle is installed. So whenever you pull on the nozzle should return to its original spot. Now whenever I install a nozzle or do any bolt work, you're going to want to use a lot of silicone grease and oil. I like to use the brand Abbey. So in terms of actually greasing it, you're going to want to use the silicone grease for the bolt itself, and then the dropper oil for the actual nozzle. I wouldn't recommend to use the grease on the nozzle itself, because it will make it stick a lot more, and it's just not overly good on the nozzle. So I'd keep the grease just on the bolt itself. So I'd use the dropper oil for the nozzle. So basically that is the whole video, and that's how you install a nozzle into your MWS bolt. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and hopefully you can do it by yourself. As owning an MWS, it is basically essential to know how to replace a bolt, just in case you do end up splitting it by accident. But hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you'd like more guides like this, do leave it in the comments below. It really helps me creating content for you. And if you did like it, please leave a like and a comment. It really helps me out, and do drop a subscribe as well. And so yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.